Hey everybody, this is just a video showing the NES Classic Edition that came out on November 11th. It hasn't been available in stores since then. Walmart and a couple of other stores have been sending them out little by little, but you haven't been able to just walk into a store and grab one. Fortunately for me, I was able to get one on Black Friday at the flagship New York City store, and even they had a hard time getting these in stock. They only had 60 units when I bought it, but I'm going to show you if it's worth the struggle to get it, or if you just wait till January, or wait till these come out, or if you should just skip it altogether. So in this video, I'm going to be comparing this unit to another unit I have here that also plays games, and this is going to be like a mini review. So let's take a look at the NES Classic. So this is the unit right here. It's very small. This is the controller. The problem with the controller is that it's very tiny, and that's to keep this box close by because it has the reset. So I do not recommend playing this on a big screen TV. I recommend you use it on a small display such as this one over here. Now let's look at the controller. That controller is an exact replica of the original Nintendo controller. Here is a Nintendo controller. This one's over 20 something years old, so that's why it looks yellow. But it's exactly the same type of plastic. The buttons feel exactly the same. They don't feel any different. A lot of times you buy those fake USB Chinese controllers and they feel slightly different. This is exactly the same. So this one is a one-for-one. Basically, it's made by Nintendo, so it has to be legit. And this is what I love the most about this unit. So let's go ahead and turn it on. It takes a second to boot up on the screen here. And there it is. So it's got 30 games on it. 30 good games. There's a couple that I don't really want to play here, like Excite Bike, Galaga. Those are games you could play for 2 minutes. Gradius, I haven't even tried this one yet. Ice Climbers is not a game that I even like. So I only played maybe about 20 games out of the 30. And the other ones I skip. Okay? So, I mean, for the most part, they're good games, but I'm disappointed. There's games in here missing, like Ninja Turtles. There are no Konami games other than the Castlevania games, and I think that might be all of them. What I'm disappointed is, and Gradius, that they do have the Konami license here, but they didn't get the Ninja Turtles games, and that pisses me off. Capcom, they have Mega Man 2, but they don't have DuckTales. So, I mean, there's a lot of really classic NES games that are not on here. So the display has 3 display settings. It has CRT, 4:3, and Pixel Perfect. Pixel Perfect makes every pixel square. I mean, for everybody who doesn't really know about all this crap, it basically makes everything symmetrical and square so that there's no warping, but it makes the image look real boxy, and it's really annoying. 4:3, if your TV isn't too large, this is going to be your standard image. And me personally, I like the CRT filter because it puts scan lines on the screen and makes it look better. So that's it for the NES Classic. I mean, there's really not much else here besides these 30 games. It's plug and play. So let's shut that down, and I'm going to show you another unit here. Okay, so this is my Retropie. This is an original NES case that my NES stopped working, so I basically took the guts out of it, and I put a Retropie in there. A Retropie is basically a motherboard. You could program it to do anything, and I decided to make it an arcade machine. So it's got 2 USB ports. In the front, it's got HDMI on the sides, and it's also powered the same way that the other one is powered. The NES Mini and this is powered by a USB cable. Okay, you can plug any controller into this unit that's USB. It will work. So here's the system. It's running a system called Retropie. I'm using a Bluetooth controller. This is the NES 30. You can plug it in through USB, or you can use Bluetooth. It has got 4 buttons instead of 2, and 2 shoulder buttons. So here I have Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Master System, Sega Genesis, N64, Nintendo, PlayStation, and 32X, Sega CD, Super Nintendo, Famicom Disk System. It also plays more systems. It plays TurboGrafx. It only plays the systems that you have in there. So let's take a look at Sega CD. Alright, so that's a Sega CD unit. Plays just like a Sega CD. Okay. It even loads like one too. But I mean, it works perfect. Alright, so let's get out of the Sega CD and let's try some other games. Alright, so I'll show you, so let's try Super Nintendo real quick. Alright, so there's your Super Nintendo. Alright, now let's try, so let's try the NES one. So this one has way more than 30 games. This one goes all the way down. It even has Batman's, tons of classics that you don't even see on the NES Classic. Alright. So this one has the original Contra in there, which is missing from the NES Classic. I mean, it has Super C, but that's about it. So let's try one. This one also has Galaga, Ghostbusters, Ghosts and Goblins. I mean, it goes all the way to Z. So I'm just going to show you, that was just showing you the list of it's got more games. It basically runs the same as HDMI. And then here's a really cool one. It also plays PlayStation games. So let's try PlayStation. So this basically costs about the same as the NES Classic. I spent $30 on the Raspberry Pi, and then $30 on a USB on a flash card, on a memory card, SD card, basically big enough to hold all my games. Spent $30 on the control, and I can always add more games to this thing. So there you go. I mean, if you're gonna pick one or the other, the Raspberry Pi is a better unit. The only problem with the Raspberry Pi is that it takes a lot of configuration. You might not have the time to sit here and have somebody do all that for you. So, once again, I really like the NES Classic Edition. It's really cool. But the Retropie is a better unit. So, I mean, if you can't get the NES Classic Edition, don't spend more than $60 on it. Forget it. There are other machines out there that does the same thing way better. This one is hand built, so it's a little bit more near and dear to me. It takes a lot of setup, but there you go. That was your review for the NES Classic Edition and a look at the Retropie. I would definitely take the Retropie over the NES Classic Edition any day of the week. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoy.